'Cause I saddle up my horse
And happy Monday, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Donna and Steve Show on My Talk 1071, Everything Entertainment. Donna Valentine and Steve Patterson, producer Dawn McClain, coming off of a big night for television, the 73rd Annual Emmy Awards. I didn't think it was a bad show.
Raise your hand if you remembered that it was the Emmys when Donna texted a picture of her watching the Emmys. I'm raising my hand. I was watching a football game.
Oh.
The Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore
Sure.
Ravens. And I was like, oh, that's right. That's tonight. So then I started flipping over, going on Twitter, getting all caught up with what Twitter was talking about with the Emmy Awards. But now I feel very well researched on the topic.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I was reading our book because we were, required to finish it by this morning.
Yes.
Oh, during commercial breaks of the Emmy Awards. So I would mute the TV.
Mute or Kelly.
And I would mute the TV and then I would just hunker down and read 2 pages. And then I would unmute the TV and go back to the Emmy Awards. I think all in all, it was one of the better award shows that we've seen in quite some time.
It had energy, right? That's what the last few have
fast.
missed.
They just went from one award to another to a bit. It was great for that reason. I didn't like that it was 3 hours either, Dawn.
Yeah, what's
It
up
was
with that?
more than that. And
It
I
was
watched the
over
red
3 hours.
carpet, so I started watching at 5.
Oh,
Yeah, I knew it was on, and I'm
Jeremy
like,
Parsons.
nope, not going to do it.
Oh, were you watching the Jeremy Parsons?
Jeremy
Parsons
Bear.
and Janine. I like her. They were cool, and I have so many questions for Steve about red carpet stuff, but we'll wait till later or during the commercial for that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. I'd love to, because he's got a real good setup there too. Any of the big outlets at these red carpet awards. If you're at the end of the line, you're fighting for anything. Like Low J, whenever they go to the Screen Actors Guild Awards,
They're in the bushes. They're like, hey, can we talk to you?
And then meanwhile, if you're one of the big outlets, you get everybody. It's just so fun. I love red carpets.
The beginning is probably
where
the
you wanna
spot you want to be
where you wanna
because, it's just even when we do like radio interviews, these people, these celebrities that we're talking to, if you're last, they're tuckered out.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
just like, bleh.
And very often what happens is, so you have all of the big ones, Entertainment Tonight, Extra, People, all of them. They have their full setups. And so they have platforms and publicists bring the stars over to you. And it looks like a little mini television studio. The second half of the red carpet is just like a guardrail sort of a situation, like a barrier. And that's where you are. And you each get about a foot to stand next to each other, shoulder to shoulder. And you're fighting for it. And the dynamic is different. Although sometimes you will get some celebrities who maybe are kind of B-list, weren't sought after by the big platforms, but their publicists still want them to get on different people's outlets, and then you can get some longer conversations with them, but you don't exactly get pick of the litter.
Right. What do you do? Well, anyway, The Crown and Ted Lasso, they led the winners. I couldn't believe how many Ted Lasso awards went out consecutively.
Yeah.
It was really, really a good fun. I was happy with all the winners for the most part.
You like The Crown winning, right? You felt good about that.
Absolutely. I really, at the end, should we go down some of the big winners? Because what was the last award? Drama series, which went to Queen's Gambit.
That was Outstanding Limited Series.
Limited series.
Yes.
Okay, so that went to the Queen's Gambit, which I was happy with. I really would have liked to see Murder Dirter.
Mayor of Easttown.
Yes, have gotten it. But there were a lot of really nice speeches, which we'll get to a little bit later in the show. But limited series went to the Queen's Gambit. Drama series went to The Crown. Comedy series went to Ted Lasso.
Hey, that's pretty exciting too. We're pretty much up to date on those. Now, I haven't seen an episode of The Crown since season 2, but
I'm not up to date on Ted Lasso yet.
okay, but we're in the know on those. It's not like a
Sure.
blind spot. Sometimes they get a little artsy fartsy, and you're like, I feel like
Who
an
is
idiot.
that? Yeah.
Who is
Yeah.
Josh O'Connor, Prince in The Crown, who won Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama? Is Josh O'Connor Prince Philip?
Prince Charles. Young Prince Charles.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And Emma Corrin who is wearing the swim cap and the gloves.
What
in the
my
hell
friend
was
and I
that?
were texting one another, and she's like, "What the hell's with the
Diana.
swim cap?" I go, "I didn't see it." I go, "But I'm looking at the Handmaid's Tale chick." She goes, "Yeah, that's the one."
Yeah, she plays Princess Diana.
I did not even know that was her.
That's the weirdest thing I've seen. Everything else was pretty, outside of Billy Porter wearing bird wings, which that's just expected.
Never know what you're going to get.
That was so bizarre. She's so pretty, and I'm like, what are you doing?
I know.
Happy with Jean Smart winning Outstanding Lead
Yes.
Actress in a Comedy Series. I saw I think a lot of Hollywood reacted
Right.
like, bravo.
Yes, and they said, she got a semi-standing ovation. I did not realize her husband died 6 months ago.
I don't know that either.
So I got choked up.
Me too.
And she talked about how he put his own stuff aside so that she could take advantage of some of these great opportunities that came her way. And then you heard of someone whose mom died. I can't remember who it was, due to COVID. Just, really, really ups and downs emotionally, this show. Because I laughed, I cried.
Now, it also started a touch weird. So when I was playing catch up on the Emmys, I go to Twitter and it says, boy, people have opinions about the opening number. Cedric the Entertainer, who was the host last night, it was on CBS, and he is a CBS sitcom. He started saying this isn't just a celebration of, this year. It's a celebration of what TV does for us, how we feel when we watch TV in it. And then suddenly he appears on stage. That first bit had been pre-recorded. And it goes into this cover of Biz Markie, the late Biz Markie, who died just a couple of months ago. You say he's just a friend. Oh, baby, you, that song. And they're doing this TV cover of it. So it starts with Cedric the Entertainer. Then LL Cool J comes in.
God.
Then you got people who are singing. Then it gets to the point that I think really caught Twitter the most off guard, which was like the show hadn't even gotten rolling yet. We were right out of the gates. You had barely sipped a martini, and Rita Wilson was rapping.
Hulu, who knew they had so much TV? First tier of HBO Max I got for free, and this rap wouldn't be complete. I gotta give a shout out to Sesame Street. So many characters I love, in fact. That's Bert and Ernie's business, we don't care about that.
The round's about over, it's about to end. Just wanna say TV.
What do we think?
All my best friends.
I thought it was fun.
How did it play in
liked it.
real time? Because I saw it
liked
after
it.
Twitter had already sort of stuck their nose up at it like, yo, that was weird, man.
Well, her son's a rapper, so I don't think it's
You think
too far.
You think Chet Hanks was helping her?
Maybe.
Bruh. Wasn't he doing videos like that? Yeah. Dawn, did you have a feeling about it when you saw the song?
Oh, I loved it.
You loved it.
I was so excited. It was like the best opening I've seen in a long time to an award show. Just
wow.
because Cedric the Entertainer was really entertaining. He was really funny. It wasn't too long. It celebrated somebody who had passed. I thought Rita Wilson was that just was shocking, and I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun. Super fun. Well, we'll give you the rest of the rundown of the winners coming up a little bit later in the show. We've got something, and if you see something, say something related to the Emmy Awards last night as well. We'll talk about that guy. That's on the way. But when we come right back, Steve has some things that make him go, huh.
All right, we're hearing about, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Richard Branson all in this race to get to space and take people there and make money off of it. So with that, think about this. The first meal that was eaten on the moon consisted of 6 things, 6 different items. Can you guess even one of them? Real bonus points if you got to 2. I will tell you about that. That and other dumb things you don't need to know, but you'll be happy you did. When we come back, it's Donna and Steve on My Talk.
All right, we're back. You're listening to the Donna and Steve show on My Talk 1071, Everything Entertainment. This is the time in the program where Steve is going to take us on a crazy ride of fun facts.
Things that make you go,
Before the break, I threw this your way. The first meal eaten on the moon consisted of 6 things. I'd be surprised if you could name any of them without getting a swing and a miss first. And if you got 2, I'd be really shocked. So we will start with Earthling number 1, Donna Valentine.
Ice cream.
You are incorrect. Donathan?
Are they inside or outside the capsule?
I think that they
they have to be inside.
The capsule.
Yeah, they have to be because
So
they
it's
have
gotta
to
be
take off their
freeze-dried.
helmet and then go, oh my God, I can't survive.
Yeah, right.
So Tang.
Tang is a good guess, but it's actually incorrect.
Okay.
The first meal eaten on the moon consisted of bacon bits, which we'd all agree are a delicacy. Make any salad better. Piaches or peaches. Sugar cookie cubes. Don, you like baking.
Hey, now.
A pineapple, grapefruit drink, and coffee.
Oh.
That doesn't sound very filling.
I thought maybe cheese because the moon is made of cheese. They just scooped some
Yes.
up and brought it back inside the capsule.
What do you want, marry the moon? I'll throw a lasso on it. I thought that was interesting. Oh, now we're all going to learn a new word together. There is a poison. It is pronounced ciguatoxin. Everybody say ciguatoxin.
Ciguatoxin.
It can, I don't even understand this. It can reverse the heat and cold sensation of its victims. The toxin is carried by some fish. I don't know what it means. Does that mean that if I feel hot and then I got hit with ciguatoxin, I could then feel cold again?
And you don't know you're burning?
Yeah,
So
like,
you're
do I not know I'm
I'm
burning?
fine. And you're like, actually, you're on fire.
Oh, like I don't know I'm freezing to death outside getting frostbite.
Donna is yawning right now.
No.
You better come up with something better
No,
than
it's
this.
not because it's boring.
Donna always defends yawns like
Yeah.
this. She's always like, it doesn't
It's a
mean
lack
that
of
you're-
oxygen in the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
But see,
So
that's-
he's sucking all of it out of the room?
I would like to defend yawns. That's such bull dookie, though. The lack of oxygen thing. And here's why. Anecdotally, when do you yawn the most? Is there suddenly an oxygen loss at home at night when you're getting ready for bed? It means you're tired. That's bullcrap, right?
I don't know, Steve.
I'm just saying.
I'll find out for you while you continue.
We've all lived that truth, though, right? You yawn at night. You don't yawn when you're working out.
I'm surprised neither one of you yawned after I yawned because it's contagious.
And please, somebody explain that to me.
They did it on Mythbusters. It's true.
Was it a good explanation? Because I fully believe it.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but they got a room full of people and they didn't tell them what they were doing. It was like a waiting room, like a doctor's office thing, and they had one guy yawn, and then they had a control room where no one yawned.
Oh.
And then so many people yawned in the experiment room. It was like, whoa, 6 people yawned.
Interesting. Well, some people think it's because you're bored or tired. I just found this out. We just don't breathe as deeply as we usually do. Our body's taken less oxygen because our breathing has slowed. Therefore, yawning helps us bring more oxygen into the blood and move more carbon dioxide out of the blood. Right again. What? Whoop, whoop.
You think that made you right?
Yeah. It
Dawn,
had to do with lack of oxygen.
But
So you're trying
wasn't
to
the
get-
beginning about sleepiness too?
I thought she was bored with what you were saying.
So then her combating my
You're trying to
boring
fill the
thing.
lungs with more air. It is a natural response to being tired.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, you stayed up late for the Emmys. That's why.
Yeah.
Dawn, you just mentioned a control room based on the Mythbusters study about it. Let me just say something about a control room gets me thinking about, I think of a television control room, and I think of the morning show episode 1, season 2, which I just watched.
Me too.
I have hope. I have hope that things will pick up.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. I loved it.
We're going to right now, real quick.
Oh, I just put it in the next
Oh,
segment.
you did?
Okay, yep.
No. We don't have. Next segment is blocked off for the grand finale of the damn book club. Hashtag
Yes.
it's not a book club.
Okay.
I just felt in season 2, episode 1 of the morning show, their way of trying to somehow re-engage Jennifer Aniston's character and get her to have skin in the game felt so
Forced?
thin and almost not believable. She went from being this stalwart, no, I'm not coming back. and then has one bump in with a psychic that wasn't even a good, like, interesting psychic experience.
She didn't even like it. Yeah.
No. And then it just seemed like such a thin hook to try to get her
I'll agree with
in.
you on that. That's true.
I just didn't like that.
Other
so
than
was a
that, I
bummer.
kind of like that she's, well, we won't give anything away. Never mind. I liked it. I was happy it was back. I didn't care. I'm all in. Whatever.
All right.
Are you watching that, Dawn?
The morning show?
Yeah.
I have never watched the morning
okay.
show. No, but I'm on one. So I thought, why do I want to watch a
Be a-
show about one?
Overkill.
Yep. Kind of turns me off, you know. But I did start watching Ted Lasso.
Good for you, Dawn. Season 1?
Yes.
How many episodes are you?
Just one.
Good job. Oh,
you
yeah,
like
that's
it?
episode 1 is when he does the press conference, right?
Yeah, I
In front
loved
of
the
the
line
British
about
media?
ghosts. It's like, do you believe in ghosts? And he's like, the real question is, do they believe in themselves? That's very positive.
Yeah.
Beyond that.
It's a very positive.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's got a lot of
Yeah,
that.
get ready for a lot of that.
It's a very pleasant show.
I watch a
Yes.
lot of British shows, so I'm seeing a lot of people that I've seen before on other shows that I love.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh. Like the main journalist from the main guy
he's
who
funny.
questions him. I wonder if he floats around in like British television shows, the long-haired guy who's always at every press conference.
I've only seen one press conference, so
There was probably that guy, though, long hair from, what's his name? Donna, come
I
on,
don't know
quiz,
his
we
name.
watch it.
I don't know.
Blah, blah, from the
He's
blah,
from
blah,
the-
blah.
from the Independent.
Independent.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god!
If you watch Ted Lasso,
and
you
by
know.
the way, I don't know if
So
you
watch
saw the guy win, the guy with the beard from Ted Lasso. He's like, the first thing they told me is not to swear, and then there's this long bleep when he starts his speech. It just goes boo, and then he swore again at the end.
After the
right.
break, it's time
do it.
for our final book club gathering. Hashtag it's not a book club. That's next.
All right, guys, let's do this. It's the Donna and Steve Show on My Talk 1071, Everything Entertainment. Producer Dawn McClain on board with us for our read along.
Ladies and gentlemen, the long national nightmare is over. We finished the latest Stephen King book, which was called Billy Summers.
Yep.
The idea for us to read this book came when, just randomly, on air, at a whim, I said, I heard there's this new Stephen King book. I'm thinking about reading it. It would be my first time ever reading Stephen King. And then Dawn
outrage.
and Donna had all these opinions about, should you read Stephen King? If so, what book should you read? And all this stuff. And I said, look, this is the one I want to read because it's not a horror situation. But I heard that it's interesting.
Yeah.
So then we decided to read it. Then Donna, I believe we would have this on tape somewhere to prove this. We should read it together because she's always looking for us to do something together. We should read it together.
Rude. You're the
That's
one
true.
who's looking for group participation. Hey, we should do a juice cleanse. Hey, let's do a 30-day.
good point.
You know what I mean?
Donna
Let's do
scores on
30
that
day
one.
Push-ups every day for 30 days.
Okay,
Wake
but
up
in
at
this,
5 a.m.
I believe. Okay, as a character flaw, I accept that loss. That being said, in this situation, Donna was the one who suggested a book club. We should all read it. So then we did.
That's fair.
And then she became and this is also, I don't think there's room for argument here, our chief complainer, whiner, wiener baby about the whole thing.
I didn't complain until you put me on the spot and berated me.
There was a lot of discretion in between how many pages to read by what date. I think that's what the real contention was.
Because Steve is a control freak and he thinks that he gets to call all the shots.
Blanket statement.
No, it all started after Donna said, though I was reading too slow, she went past the first 50 pages, read to page 89 and said, come on, man, we should be reading more than this. Why don't you just read faster?
Well, then you just went crazy with the assignment. You're like, all right, let's add 200 pages.
No, then we did like 75. Then the next time we did 100. This last time we did 100 and, oh goodness, 64 pages, something like that.
Something like that. But the bottom line is we all finished.
This is really, really wonderful.
Bravo, everybody.
Before we get into our take on the book, I think one thing we can all agree on for various reasons is we're never doing this bull crap again.
I would do it again.
I couldn't. I don't have it in me.
I need a much shorter book. Like The Great Gatsby. It's like 70 pages long.
Yeah, you were reading through the classics for a while.
Classics.
And I was picking all the short ones.
Yeah. This was 514 pages. One thing I did learn, since I don't read a lot of fiction, I generally am more attracted to nonfiction. Fiction is so much easier to read for this reason alone. When you're quoting people, there are some lines there are so many page breaks, paragraph breaks. It's not all information. So it's Jeannie's talking, now Billy's talking, then Alice is talking, then Bucky is talking.
Right, because you have to go to the next space or the next line.
So it's like
it's
a false 514 pages, but it still was a beast, and we all did it.
We all did it. What's the verdict?
I think if I had to rate this just on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate the book a 7.5. I thought that it was a good story. Let's go around the horn. Let's do 1 to 10s, just so we're all in the same unit of measurement here.
It kept me interested, so I would give it, I think I'd give it the same rating.
Okay.
I almost said 8, but I'm going to go 7.5.
All right, now we're going to go to Dawn, a.k.a.
Oh, Dawn looks like she hated
Donathan. She has strong feelings about Stephen King. She's read probably more Stephen King than any of us have. And we now turn to you for your 1 to 10 rating. And it seems like this is causing you pain.
Okay, so remember when I asked about whether or not they ate the food outside or inside of the capsule? I have a question for you with this rating system.
Okay.
Is this based on all books of all time? Like including like the Bible?
Oh, God, no, I hope not.
This is based
all books
on...
of all time?
Let's just go books of...
No.
Or just books of Stephen King?
Just your... No, not even... Don't just compare it against other Stephen King.
It's a standalone book.
If this was the only book that you've read, you just picked up this book, rate it in a vacuum, your enjoyment of reading just that one singular book.
Okay.
Now I'm questioning my own measurement scale.
Like I don't want to put it down type of a thing. I would say 5.
Okay.
Wow.
So you liked it, didn't love it.
Yeah, and it's subjective,
Yeah.
I was entertained by it for sure. There were a lot of times where I wanted to read more.
Okay, so here's, Steve, you, I'm sure, missed a lot of this, but there's these little references to The Shining, the Overlook Hotel that he references that burned down is a reference to The Shining.
Oh, yeah, I saw 0 Easter eggs.
Okay, so there's a picture on the wall of the cabin that's like a topiary of animals, like hedge animals.
Okay.
That's a reference to The Shining. Oh. So when we got to that point in the book, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to take a turn like The Shining, because in The Shining, the writer... There's a writer who goes away with his family to be the hotel keeper. Yeah. For the caretaker of this hotel for the winter. He goes crazy. He loses his mind.
Is that guy played by Jack Nicholson?
And turns on his family.
Brilliantly.
Okay. Here's Shy.
And I thought that was going to happen to Billy Summers in this book.
Oh. Did you? Oh, that's interesting.
I thought that would have been a really great turn of events.
Let's rewrite it that way.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because one of the interesting things about this book, Billy Summers by Stephen King, was the story within the story. So you have this hired hitman, and then he's got to go hide away and wait for the right moment to take the shot. And while he does that, he's under his gimmick, his persona is an author. And so he's writing, but he's actually writing about his real life story. And so you're hearing 2 stories in one, which is layered. But when you mention changing the ending, that's, in a sense, the book ends with a nod to that concept. And one thing that I thought was really cool.
Right.
Which you see in the world of, stay with me here, wrestling. It's called a false finish. So in wrestling, you think everything is about to go and the match is over and everything is done. And then things come back. And there was that about 15 pages shy of when the book ended.
I did get a little confused.
I thought, oh my gosh, the book is ending. Oh, this is crazy. And then you realize, wait a second. No. That was not the actual finish. There will be a new finish. And it all turns into when you write, your ability to change things and deal with grief and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like...
I thought that was a cool twist, how it ended.
I did too. I almost maybe will give the book an 8 because of those cool little twists and turns and creative, angles that he took with the book and telling the story within the story.
I think this is one of his better books. I will say
Of
that.
late,
Oh, okay.
of late,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. My
yeah.
sister, Marianne, is reading. She's an English teacher, so she probably reads more than Lori from the Lori and Julia show does. She's reading his latest short stories, and she's like, I'm not impressed. Because she was asking what I was reading, and I'm like, you might like this, because it's probably one of his better stories in the past decade or so.
I'd like to talk to Stephen King. Don, if you could get him on the line quick.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hold
all
on
right.
just a second.
Yep. And the reason is I'm just so curious with these fiction authors. I'm so impressed. And there were parts of it that I, felt like creepy Stephen King was coming through at his kitchen table, just like, oh, that's right about this.
Like the last parts.
Yeah. But, here's what was interesting is I'm so curious when he knew things were going to play out the way that they did. What is the beginning framework that you have? Because Billy Summers, this hired hitman who then is on the run and then encounters a young woman who has had a really traumatic experience happen to her, a crime committed against her. And then he takes her in and she's young, which then comes into play really strategically at the end of the story. Did he know all of that the whole time? Does it come to him?
Does he know the ending when he starts?
This is
what
my
you're
question.
asking?
Yes.
I would hope so. It feels like maybe he didn't to me. I would think that a writer has an outline, right? And then
Yeah.
you work off the outline.
I mean, I prefer to write that way. I prefer to know the end.
Right.
As far as like scripts. I don't
And then
write
how do you get
books.
there?
Yeah.
I also remember an early review that we read, which said this book, Billy Summers by Stephen King, is like two books in one. And some people online were suggesting that the first half was really good and then it unwound the second half. I would actually argue opposite. I found that from the midway point on, the reading became much quicker, and I was more intrigued with where in the bleep is this going to go next?
Same.
How's he going to get out of this situation? How is he going to get payback for that? And I really I liked it more as time went on.
Okay. I liked it equally, beginning, middle, and end. But I do wonder, okay, I think this is going to become a movie. I really do.
Certainly could.
But I also think there's going to be a sequel. Why is he mentioning all that Shining stuff in there? If they're not going to use that, he never used
Yeah.
it to the advantage of the book.
I would like to also point out something that's about the moon. So something we've already talked about.
And how it's
and
made of
Stephen
cheese.
King.
Okay.
And a reference in the book, like a little Easter egg. Stephen King hated Stanley Kubrick's The Shining movie.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There's a whole documentary about how Stanley Kubrick actually filmed the moon landing. He was the director and it's fake. And there's a whole documentary about the movie The Shining and how it was him working out his guilt through this film about faking the moon landing.
Oh, my.
Okay. And there's all of these references. It's so uncanny. It's crazy. So in the book, Stephen King writes, it's just as crazy as people thinking the moon landing was fake.
Oh, he did. Yes,
Yeah.
you're
And
right.
that's a nod to him
You're
not
right.
liking what Kubrick did with his film. And I was like, you son of a gun.
I
you.
kind of like that he did that because that's fun for fans of his. Mm-hmm. But again, just mentioning The Shining and being in Colorado and
near Estes Park.
yes, and then the hedge animals, like, why just throw that in there for the sake of throwing it in there? It's not the same kind of reference as the moon landing in Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah,
It-
you're
it-
right.
it was
It's
way
like,
more- it
Is
was
it just
fatter.
fun? Is it just like fun? Like, look, we're around the same area, and that magic still lives there, and it might be affecting what's going on
Oh, maybe.
because there was a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
once they went there.
Interesting.
I did
Also-
like it. Maybe I'll give it a 5.5.
Nice. Look at us.
I'm going to
did.
give it an 8.
It was one of my, as of late, I think one of the best ones in
Okay.
the last 10 years that
All
he's
right.
written.
Well, that's good. Good. I feel like I came in at a good point.
And by the way, the movie The Shining was excellent.
Yeah. So,
So chill out, Stephen King.
yeah,
Thank
he's,
you.
yeah.
Well, you get to have an ego when you're that successful, I guess.
Yeah.
What's our next book? No. Let's
I'll
take
do
a
another
breather.
one. Let's do
no,
one.
let's take a
Come
breather.
on.
Let's not rush into this. Let's
Have
really
you read The
think
Kite
about
Runner?
it. Half of it.
You should read it. It's very excellent. Thank you.
is now the book club. You just
Look at the
assigning me
time.
books
Yes.
that you've already read, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to read. Okay, I'm interested in that.
You're on to me.
All right.
All right,
Let's
when we
take a
come
break.
back, let's go back to the Emmys and the I Talk Too Long guy. Let's discuss that when we come right back on My Talk 1071. Welcome back.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Good to be here.
Having me, it's Donna and Steve on My Talk 1071, everything entertainment. The Emmys were on last night. We all watched. We all saw the same thing. I'm sure you saw it too.
Hey, if you see something, say something. Oh, that is catchy, huh?
Time for If You See Something, Say Something with Donna and Steve.
If you see something, say something. Come on and party tonight.
Okay. You know, Debbie Allen won like the Lifetime Achievement Award or the Governor's Award last night, and the shut up music started, and she was like, oh, hell no. You know, I'm not paying any
She's
attention
turn
to
that
that.
off. I'm not looking at the clock. Turn it off.
And I was okay with that. Like her shushing the time Nazis because she won a Lifetime Achievement Award.
And they hit her with the clock pretty early in her speech, too. And I think it's the job of the director to make sure that you save time for that. So you need to hit rap music earlier on other people before you do someone getting a quasi-Lifetime Achievement Award.
Exactly. It's like, let her talk for 5 minutes. But then you get this guy. Who was this guy anyway? He was from
Scott Frank.
And Scott Frank was from the Queen's Gambit.
Yep.
Is that right?
He won
Yes.
directing for a limited or anthology series.
Okay,
movie.
cool. If you want to talk that long, sir, you better be interesting because you were so boring. Do we have some of the
We
audio,
do.
Dawn? I think he's still talking.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, we're just gonna take it
so you
live?
know-
Okay, we're going to go live.
well, just so you know, he talked for 3.5 minutes, and the time limit is 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Just as a visual, if you didn't see it, he got out 2 pieces of tightly typed paper,
Single space.
single space, and everyone in the crowd saw this 2 full pages, and I could feel the air in the room just being sucked out. Nobody wants to see that. This is the way I'm going to just play the first 45 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
So this
you
is
can
how long it
feel-
should be.
This is how long it
45
should be,
seconds. Okay.
and you can feel just the tempo.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Emmy goes to Blah Blah Frank.
I need this. Thank you very much. I accept this on behalf of my friends at Netflix, Bill Horberg and Alan Scott, my fellow producers, and the 200 or so artists of all stripes from all over the world who basically co-created our show about a girl addicted to chess, alcohol, pills, and wallpaper.
Okay, you're halfway done at this
okay.
point.
As
You're
we all
halfway.
know, a film crew is
Nobody
a
laughed at the
family
wallpaper joke,
born out of
though.
a shotgun wedding, and it was an honor to be included in this family. I wish I could stand up here and mention every single one of you.
Oh, God.
But I'd need
Please
a
don't.
lot more time, and that's why God created IMDb.
That's a good line right there.
That's
That's
it.
a good
That's
line.
where you
And get
should
out
have
right there.
ended.
Thank you so much. I love
That's
you
your
all. Good
time.
night.
That's
So
your
you're telling me
time.
he goes on for like 3 more minutes?
Yes.
Yes, and the second half was a love letter to the actress Anya Taylor-Joy, who did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
But tell her that in private.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I mean, it was.
It was brutal. It was so embarrassing.
And he was after Debbie Allen won, right?
No, before.
Okay, so if that's the case,
Was he?
I think so, because I remember Debbie Allen shutting the music down. I said, it's okay for her, just like you said, Donna.
Oh, I don't know why I thought she went first.
But
the director's got to be ruthless. You have to
he
be
was
ruthless.
rude, and 3 times they played the music, guys. 3.
Oh, no.
And he kept getting ruder and ruder, and I thought, it's really hard to like you at this point.
It's so funny. I'm getting
The
texts.
crew is being disrespected. What's it like to work with him?
My friend Nancy texts me, I'm embarrassed for this guy. He's not as interesting as he thinks. Yeah. I'm like, I know, if he weren't so boring. She's like, plus you can tell he thinks he's entertaining. Bleeping, shut up. And I write back, way too long. She writes back, not good at all. Oh,
what is the number one quality that when someone doesn't possess it, it makes it really weird for everybody? Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
And he didn't have it.
No, he didn't. And then I got another text from a friend that says, bleep that guy with his long bleeping speech.
Wow, and they only heard 45 seconds of it.
It was infuriating.
I can tell who that is.
I don't think you can.
Does he garden?
No. Oh, gosh, no. It's funny. Anyway, yeah, that was weird. And then we'll get to the Conan O'Brien thing coming up at 10:15 because I have mixed feelings about his behavior as well.
Well, I think, though, at least part of his behavior you're going to feel differently about. If you saw Conan O'Brien, he stormed the stage with Stephen Colbert after Colbert won an Emmy, and you might be thinking, okay, this feels you're taken away from somebody's moment. Stephen Colbert gives a reason as to why that happened, which I think will make you feel different. That coming up at 10:15. Now, before we go,
yes, Donna
writes in,
oh yeah,
why am I finding dead worms in my house?
Okay, so here's the deal. I have a friend that lives with me, and he's in the lower level. Okay, so the lower level is technically
the lower level,
below ground. Okay, so it's below ground.
Okay,
subterranean.
And a few weeks ago, he was like, I have to show you what I found in my room. And I'm like, what is it? He's like, it's inside this Kleenex.
Oh,
and
no.
I go, no, I don't want to see it. He's like, no, it's not that bad. He's like, it's gross, but it's not so gross. So he shows it to me, and it's what appears to either be mouse poo.
Okay.
That was my guess. Or a dead, dried up worm. So then he found another one that same day, dried up. And then yesterday he found another one, and I said, oh my God, what's going on? And then he starts talking about people who get snakes in their house if the foundation is open. And I'm like,
no.
Don't you dare talk to me about snakes.
Oh.
Don't you dare. So I'm going to call Plunkett's today. Yes. I don't know if they can deal with something like that.
Do you still have the things? Do you have dead worms to show them? Okay.
And so now I'm concerned that there's a moisture problem in my house, and I'm freaking out.
Oh, man.
I mean, what is that?
It's not great, is what it is, for starters. Anything worm or snake-like in your house is never good.
Okay, that doesn't sound reassuring.
Sorry.
I was looking for you to say something a little more
Let
promising.
me try again. Oh, well, since it only happened 3 times in a short period of time, it's probably not the sign of something much bigger. It probably is.
And if anybody knows, will you send me an email? You can send it to Donna and Steve Show at mytalk1071.com. Thank you very much. Dawn is going to take off.
Bye. Bye, Dawn.
Bye, Dawn. Get some rest, okay? Okay. You worked really hard this weekend.
Yeah, good job, Dawn. DJ Rock Lobster is coming in next. And we will start with a little new music. Lil Nas X is about to do a collaboration. $1 million if you guess who he's planning to collaborate with.
And I've got some Taylor Swift news.
Yes!
Woo! All coming up next after a Dirt Alert with Rocco on My Talk.